So thank you, Riti, for joining me today. So taking your time out to come and share with me your experience. So you're in grade 12
Yes, I'm in grade 12.
and you know me about 2.5 years, maybe?
Two and a half, almost three.
Almost three. Tell me about this change. Like, we've all gone through a major change, right? You're in grade 12. It must have been hard to get this change in a grade 12 level because it's a big year for you, right?
Most definitely. Like transitioning from going like in class learning to online, it's not something we're all used to. And I particularly struggled with it because it's just it's different because you don't really have a guidance. You can't talk to a teacher hand on hand. And particularly we're in grade 12, we have to do our capstone and our grad transition. So it's not something that we're really used to, but I guess as time goes by, we're slowly figuring it out, working as teachers and students, and that's how it's going, I guess.
So, in your opinion, has this? It's been a challenge for sure. I'm not going to make any excuse on that. But are you finding it now being a positive experience, or how are you experience? What is your experience now that it's been over?
I would say that it's slowly becoming more of like a positive experience. At first, it was quite negative because, it was so all of a sudden and it was something that was so unexpected. But it's turning into a positive experience through the fact that we're able to learn more about ourselves as individuals, as like how we are actually being able to learn on our own online. It's like it's just more of a self-learning thing, and like you're learning more about yourself. You're learning like, okay, can I do this, can I do that, through online learning. So I guess that's how it's positive in its ways.
So it has given you things that you might have thought before you won't be able to do. You're proving it to be wrong to yourself, even.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I think of it as.
And you're getting enough support from your teacher, you said earlier to me, right? So tell me about that. What kind of support has been available to you?
Well, the thing is that at first it was like, oh my gosh, like I don't know what I'm going to do. How do I talk to my teachers? Like there was a lot of things that I needed help on, but they're super understanding. They're very, very understanding. And I've emailed a few teachers about this, and I've told them, hey, I can't get this in right now. I'm really sorry. Like it's also about prioritizing, because there's 8 subjects in total, right? And it's difficult to prioritize what comes first and what comes next, because all teachers have a deadline, right? So it's just the teachers are very understanding with the deadlines, and they're very like supportive. They're like, hey, like if you need to relax, if you need to calm down, it's okay, just take your time, just prioritize what you need to, and then get to it later. So in that sense, they're very, very understanding, and they do everything they can to try to get us the help we need, like videos and on calls and all that. So it's really, really good.
So they've been very helpful for you to transition. That's awesome. That's awesome. So we met about 2.5 years ago when you were in grade 10, right? So when you were in grade 10, we met for math help, right? I was your math coach. Tell me, when you came then, you had a different approach to math. Now I see a different student. Tell me about your...
At that point, I was very pessimistic. I was always like, my thought process was, I can't do it. Like, I'm not a math person. But that's not the fact. That's not true at all. No, but there's no such thing as a math person or an English person or art person. It's your mindset. And if you put your mind to it, and if you really think that you're capable of doing it, you can do anything. Yeah. And that's what I learned from you. And I'm not joking. This is no thing. I changed my mindset that nothing is impossible. You can do what you put your mind to,
Yeah. And beyond math, there was sometimes you were doing things that were counterproductive for your own productivity, right? You weren't getting your performance because you were a very good at hardworking student, in my opinion, when I met you. But it wasn't giving you the results that made you started doubting what you were doing a lot of the time. So there's something that I did with you that I think it was a very big difference. Like from that on, I think there was a little spark, that fire went off, right? So tell me about that.
So it was one of the things that you told me was a technique, and it was a work and reward method. I sort of switched it up in my own way, and it was that, okay, well, one day you make that your work day, and then you work for 30 to 15 minutes, 15 to 30 minutes, and then you take a 5-minute break, and then you keep doing that in sessions throughout the day. And then the next day, that's your reward day. and then you keep doing in that alternating order, and it just gets so productive, and then you figure out how to use your time properly, and it changed everything for me. It was honestly a game changer.
Yeah. And you promised yourself, right? When I was teaching you, like when I was sharing that with you, you were promising yourself, like you were putting everything to one day that I will do it, or one time I'll just get it done then.
Yeah.
But then when that time came, it was too massive because you didn't know a skill, you don't have a technique there, right?
Definitely. It's not about, that's what I feel like most people think of it, that okay, I have to pick this day, I have to get everything done. Well, you can make it easier on yourself and break it into little parts and do it at your own pace, comfortably, and enjoy yourself at the same time, you know? Yeah. So that's one major thing that changed everything for me, honestly.
And leaving math to the last minute was something you were doing because you were afraid of math as well, right? Tell me about that.
Well, that was one of the biggest challenges I had. I was always like, okay, I'll get everything done and then I'll focus on math. And then say I have a test in 2 days, and then I would be panicking and nothing would go in my brain. Like everything would just come in one side and it would just fall out. Like no information would stick. And one thing I learned, that math is something that's so particular. You have to you have to work with it. You can't just do it one day and understand it. It's something that you do progressively, and it just comes to you. So that's what my realization initially was.
Yeah, do it in stages, little chunk.
Exactly.
Don't pile it up until
Don't pile it up.
Yeah. Have you applied that technique in other subjects? I'm sure you have, right?
Definitely. I've applied it in physics. I've applied it in most of my academic subjects. I've applied that technique, and I make a list and then I slowly work through it. And as I'm doing the work reward method, I say I'm working on a subject for 30 minutes and then I get really bored. I'll move on to another subject and then I'll go back to that. And then my interest is just stuck on that subject, you know? Like that's how I alternate between things.
Yes. So now that you're even after, like, this year you only came to me for one semester, a little bit. You're doing it on your own. You have a different confidence level in math, right? You're like, I can do it.
Exactly, most definitely.
So how did you build that?
Well, it initially came from the fact that, okay, well, I have worked with Kohila for almost 2 years or 2.5 years. And like, I've learned so much, and I can imply that on what I'm doing now. So like, it was like a realization that, okay, well, let's see if I can work on it on my own. And the moment I started doing that, it started coming together like a puzzle. And now I'm just so much more in tune with myself, in tune with what I'm doing. And in the present, I'm able to focus on, okay, well, math is this focus. I can do it. If you tell yourself you can't do something, you are naturally not going to be able to do it. And that's a fact. And that's something you taught me. I remember that you would always tell me, hey, don't tell yourself you can't do it, because you're just setting yourself up for failure. Like, you have to tell yourself, you can do it. You can do anything, right? So it's just, you have to tell yourself that you can do it, and you can it'll come to you.
Yeah, it's a work. You have to put in some work, but the work, if you do it systematically, the work is even easier. Yeah. Now that you're this big change, right, for you, like I was worried about you, how you're gonna, but you seem to be flourishing in this change.
Yeah, definitely. Honestly, I didn't think I would be okay, but then I told myself, you know what, it's gonna work out great. Honestly, like, it's another learning experience, and what, you just take it and you learn a lot about yourself, and you learn about who you are as an individual as well.
And also, you're going to be going to university, right?
Yeah.
With the plan, yes. So then this is a good experience, the independent learning.
Yes, exactly.
You had a sample of it.
Exactly. That's what also is a really good positive, because this is what most of my cousins told me that university is like. It's all self-directed, and it's a really cool way to get the idea of how you teach yourself things, how you learn things on your own without any help and stuff. So it was really cool.
Is there something that, in your perspective, you're worrying about future? Like, are you worried what's going to happen? Like, what do you think of the future for you? Like, I know your graduation is kind of not happening now, right? Are those things a bit sad, right?
A little bit sad, but I just feel like the grads of this year are very special because we're going to be in history, and it's going to be really, so it's, you have to take, I mean, there are a lot of negatives and cons to the situation, but you just have to take it and sort of just think, okay, you know what, it happens, it's out of our control, but you know, you just have to take it and just accept it and move on, because you can't dwell on the past. You just have to keep looking forward.
It's amazing. I mean, I'm seeing such a different person talking to me. 2.5 years ago, everything, like every other sentence you would say, I don't know, I'm not sure, right? What a confident, right? I'm just so happy to see you speak like that. You don't even know.
No, this is honestly all because of you. I'm serious. I'm not kidding.
Oh, thank you. But I do see a different person, because you were always saying at the end of your sentence, like, I don't know, maybe I'm right, or maybe I don't hear that from you anymore.
I used to say that a lot because I was very unsure of myself. I didn't know what was going on, and like I was just always so like, you know, stressed about things. Every little thing would just be like overwhelming. So I was just unsure about everything. Yeah. But now it's just a big change.
Having a formula, a structure helps you ground yourself to prove it to yourself. You know what you're doing.
Exactly.
And when you have that power, you feel powerful to do anything. Right? Exactly. Yeah, awesome. So the grad is, I love how you put it, like they're going to be in history. Like, look at all the positives, right? That's what I've been saying on my YouTube, and to everyone that I've been advising, is like, look at all the positives, right? Like, there's so much negative we can look at it, but that's not going to do anything good for anybody. So I'm so happy that you're looking at it. I'll be in history. One day you could be telling your, you know, kids or grandkids, I never had a grad because of this reason, right? Those are stories that you might have not had it, but you know, there's other stories you probably are missing, but it's okay. It's okay. How's your, like for university and stuff, are you scared about anything, like because of this?
I mean, honestly, if you talked to me a few months ago, I would be very nervous, and I would be like, I don't know what I'm doing. In that sense, like I'm not sure what I want to do. But I'm just taking that and I'm looking at it like, well, you know, I can continue my education, and through that I can find out what my true passion is. That's what I'm thinking about. As I was initially very nervous about that, but now I'm just thinking of it as, okay, well, I have this amazing, I can get an education and I can just sort of find my way through what I want to actually do. So that's what I'm excited about. I'm not nervous about much, but I'm excited about starting something, you know?
Yeah, that's perfect. What about this experience, the virus and us all going into lockdown and staying home, right? Has that taught you, like, is there anything that you learned from that?
Well, I guess from that experience, I've learned that, you know, it's a lot. When you spend time with yourself, there's a lot of self-insight. Like when you're alone, when there's not much you can do, you know, how long can you go on your phone? You know, you can't always be on your phone. You can't always be on Netflix and Instagram and Snapchat. It's sort of like you kind of get more of an insight on yourself, and you learn about yourself, and you want to do things for yourself, and you want to make yourself. So I started learning a new language. I started learning how to play piano just because I have free time and I want to do something productive, you know? So I guess that's in the sense that this quarantine and this lockdown has just made me realize that I want to do things that improve me as an individual and make me, you know, I just want to do things that I enjoy, that I want to learn, you know?
Yeah. So. I love hearing what you're saying. I'm so happy to hear you say these things. So is math, do you still hate math?
I don't hate math. I actually find it one of those subjects where I can just listen to music and just zone out. If I understand it, I actually quite start enjoying it now.
Yeah.
The other night, I worked till 3 a.m. because I just felt like doing math. I just wanted to listen to music, and I just wanted to do the lessons because it's sort of like a Zen experience when you zone out, and when you really do it, it gets kind of fun. You know, it's like solving each equation. It's like doing a puzzle, and I mean, I may sound cliche, but I honestly think that it gets a little bit fun at one point.
I can relate to you. You know, when I told you, right, my experience with math at 15-year-old, I was struggling with math. I made it a therapeutical thing. Like I thought solving problem was, I was able to solve anything in my life. It gave me such a power. to be able to do that, right? So it is becomes a little, I mean, to people, some people who haven't experienced it, it might sound like a little like, oh, she's just saying it, or it's nerdy, but it's not nerdy. It's just,
when you figure it out, when you understand it, you kind of, it's like you're building blocks and you're like, oh, okay, now it makes sense. And it's so relaxing and it feels so good to solve something. I don't know how to explain it, but it feels good. Like you just feel like you accomplished something, you know?
yeah, it's like a someone painting something. It's like their masterpiece. I've solved it. I figured it out. I mean, it's such a celebration. I always feel it too. It's such a good feeling. Are you struggling with anything with this change and stuff? I mean, I want to give some people, I mean, you're such a positive person about how you took this change, right? Some people are not in that wavelength, right? They're struggling with it. So do you have anything to share? Like, do you have any fear of what's happening?
About the future? Well, the biggest fear for me is like, you know, losing track of what I want to focus on. Honestly, it's sort of like more in tune with what me, like not the whole world. It's just like if I'm in this path and I just don't, like if I ever lose my way, that's one thing that I'm afraid of. But you know, I just feel that that's not possible unless you let yourself down. If you put your guard down, you're gonna definitely fall. So if you just think positively and if you believe that, you know, what you want to do, no matter what it is, if you just believe and just keep moving and trust the process, I guess it'll be totally fine.
Mm. So for a student who's struggling right now in grade 12, what advice would you give them? Like, what would you tell them to do?
I would say that, you know what, you need to, I feel like, say most students who are struggling, they're overexerting themselves. They're putting too much energy on the wrong things. I would just say you need to step back and break it into little pieces. I feel like that's what my biggest problem was, is I would try to pile everything up and just hold it in and try to do everything at once. You need to step back and you need to break it into pieces and figure out what to prioritize. You need to learn, like it'll just come naturally, but you need to step back, just relax a little bit and tell yourself that it's going to be okay. And then you slowly will start to break it into pieces and work one by one by one. That's the best thing you can do, honestly. And you know, you should start with the subjects you're struggling with most, and you know, allot a time to it and work on it, and then move on to the next, and then come back and then keep doing it in that process where you're sort of like, you know, you're not just learning it in an instant and trying to absorb it, where you're coming back after doing something, because that's when it really sticks, you know?
Yes. Yeah, alternating between something you can be successful at, right?
And not just doing it one day, try to do it every day. Even if you're doing one day 15 minutes, do it the next day for 15 minutes, you know? Try it, just keep doing it, you know?
So how did you alter what I taught you? Like the one you said that the formula I gave you was very helpful for you. How did you make it fit you? Because every one of us is unique, right? Nothing is one fit all. Like, you know, what works for me, it doesn't gonna work for you, right? So I told you that make it what works for you. Think about yourself. Step back and say, why am I always telling myself I'll do it? And you were beating yourself up for not doing it, right? That's what I noticed when you were doing it, is like I didn't see a person who didn't want to do it. I saw a person who was desperately trying to do it, but at the end failing her own self. Okay? So tell me about, how did you make it unique to you? Because that's important.
Mostly for me, because I've always struggled with procrastination and getting distracted. It's one of my biggest problems. I still struggle with it. But I just think I implemented the thing where I do, okay, so I'm going to do 25 minutes, one task, and then I'm going to take a 5-minute break. I'm going to do 25 minutes, 5-minute break. And then after 4 25 minutes rounds, so that's, you know, that's 100 minutes, I get to take a 30-minute break. And I can do whatever I want. I can eat, I can watch a show, I can do what I want. And that just really sort of, because I'm I like instant gratification. I enjoy the prize. I want it, you know? So when I got that, I learned that, okay, well, you know, I can do this and I can also have this. So it sort of turned into a thing where, okay, I can get this and then I can also work hard for it, you know? It gets into like a prize sort of thing.
Yeah, me too. Same thing. It's not like more. It just makes sense, right, to your body because work is not fun. Everybody can say, "Oh yeah, you need to work," but work is never fun. It's always going to be work is work. But how do you make work a game for you? How do you gamify your work by allowing you to take break?
It's always you're anticipating that I want to. Okay, if I want to watch my show or I want to eat something, I have to work in this process. I have to finish this, and then I can earn that.
Yeah.
I have to do this much time, and then I can earn that.
Yeah.
So it sort of makes it like a game. Like, okay, I can do this. I can do this.
And it's not somebody else built it for you. I never built it for you. I just gave you that formula for you, and I said, build it what works for you, right?
Exactly.
So tell me. So when I told you, what did it feel like? Did it feel like would it work, or you just gave it a try, or how did it?
Very skeptical. I was like, oh, this. I mean, I was like, always. I was intrigued. I was like, yo, I've never done this before. This is so, this is so new to me because no one has ever taught me a technique on how to be productive. That's something most people either learn on their own or they figure it out. You know what I mean? It's not like someone tells you, which I feel like people should do more often, like you're going to be doing, right? So it's so cool to have that. And initially I was very skeptical because I didn't trust myself. I was like, I can't do it because I have no, I don't know how to control my time. I don't know how to control my reactions and distractions. I can't do that. But you know what? I just thought, let's give it a shot. And when you started doing it, when you start working on it, it sort of gets fun. It's like, okay, yeah, this is so cool. Because when you, as an individual who procrastinates and is distracted, when you have something new to you, and it works, it feels so good. You just want to keep doing it.
Yes. And same for life too. Like when you become an adult and we all start again traveling. Like right now we can't do stuff, but when we start out traveling, I do the same thing. Like I actually take the whole year calendar and book off my vacation first.
Yeah.
And then work my way into my working stuff so that I am so motivated to get to my vacation. It's not that I don't enjoy working with my students or something, because we all want reward. We all want free time or something I enjoy, right? So I always build it backward instead of saying, and that makes me super motivated to work those months, right? Because I know what's ahead for me. Yeah.
Sounds like a really, really cool plan because, you want to get to that point. And in order to get to that point, you have to get through everything, everything that's all the obstacles that are in front of you. And you have to, that's the whole point. You just want to get to your goal. You want to get to what you want to do.
Yeah. It's gamifying your own mind, because your mind, like people can, like your parents can stand there going, do this, right? It becomes now then a nagging, right? How do we get our students and kids to do something on their own, with their own mind and own wish, 100% in the game, working for their own self? Like that's my most important thing for me, is every student, right? That's why, like, even with your homework and stuff, right, when I give you guys at the end of the day, I don't give you a lot. I say, do all of these and you should be good. For me, it's not getting the homework done. It's understanding the concept, right? That's important too. So the grad thing, how are you feeling about that? Tell me about that.
Well, the grad thing, I would say that a lot of my friends are really, really upset. Like they're so upset and just, I mean, I am really upset about it too, but they're very upset because they bought their dresses as well. But I didn't buy my dress thanks to my procrastination.
There's somewhere you can thank the procrastination.
But I feel like a lot of people look forward to grad, and they look forward to the prom, and because it's something that it's anticipated for so long.
It's big.
That's their motivation, seriously, to get through high school.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are struggling because they're like, okay, well, my brother and my sister got a grad and I don't get one. And the issue with that is too that they didn't really postpone it either. They sort of just said it's not happening. So a lot of students are like, oh my gosh. And even if they postponed it, a lot of students would say be leaving the province because they're going to another school in another place. So it's like they can't come back, and it's just such a big mess. But yeah, I was quite upset about it, but honestly, I don't know what much can be done.
Yeah, we're all in it together, right?
Exactly.
Yes, my son is graduating grade 7, so he feels a little bit same. But I just told him that, can you imagine for grade 12s?
Yeah.
Or in grade 12, can you imagine if this happened when you were in grade 12? So you have to be very thankful that it's only grade 7. It's, compared to a grade 12 grad, a grade 7 grad is not that bad. You still have another graduation coming in the future, so it's okay. So I had to comfort him like that. But it is a big deal because you've spent so many years looking forward to this day, right?
Most definitely. Like I remember when I was in grade 3, I would look at all the girls like in elementary school, and all the girls that were used to be students at my elementary school from grade 12 would come on their graduation day in their dresses, and we'd be like, oh my god, like she's so pretty. Can I get a picture with you? And it was just like something that's so anticipated, so something to look forward to. But when it's when the situation is out of your control, when you can't do much about it, there's not much in being negative about it. You just have to take it like, okay, you know what, it happens. There'll be many opportunities to celebrate in the future, and it's not the end of the world. We're all living, we're all breathing, we're all, thankfully we have, we're safe, we're healthy, we're happy, and that's what I feel like most of us should look into, instead of just, I get it, grad is a really big deal for a lot of people, including me. I was very sad about it at first, but I just realized that, there's so many more less fortunate people in the world, and like you just have to think about it, that it happens. There's a lot more things you can do later to celebrate what you're.
Maybe the school can bring back all the graduate maybe sometime next year or something.
Something like that. It's not. There's always a solution to a problem. There's no like you can't solve.
Yeah, they could put together something like they bring back all the graduates after we're allowed to be together, when things are safe, and you guys have the grad, but it's just maybe delayed.
So definitely.
Yeah, you can. They could surprise you. I've watched some videos of other in the States where the principal actually went to the kids' school to give their grad certificates. Sorry, went to their home. Sorry, not school. Went to their home to give the certificate to the kids. So that was cool. So he actually went every house by house giving to them. So yeah. So something like that might be right. So do you have anything planned? Do they have anything planned?
We got an email from our superintendent, and she wants us to take pictures in our formal wear and send it to the thing. So they're going to be setting up like a little video. I'm not sure, but they're going to be setting something up like that. And they wanted to do some virtual prom. They're trying to figure something out for us, but I'm not really sure how they're going to do that. But hopefully it works out.
Yeah, I've seen some birthday parties, virtual birthday parties and stuff. So you get creative, right?
That's the whole point. Like people are trying to get creative and think, okay, what can we do to make this a better experience for some kids, who are missing out? And yeah.
I'm so happy to hear you with positive mindset and talking positive. It's important. It's important. It's a hard time. I know it is very, very hard to just on grade 12. The last few months of grade 12 just flipped, right? Upside down. To see through that, I think you guys are all amazing. All the kids who are going through grade 12 are amazing. Yeah, it's very good. But in the future, will you be using this technique rest of your life?
Most definitely. I'll only be improving it, I guess. Like I can just keep on implementing it to what I feel is best. And, I can always work on my own pace and figure it out on my own, which I really, 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 it's amazing. What your brain can do is crazy.
Yeah. We have to trick our brain sometimes.
Exactly. You have to change your mindset as to thinking what the real reward is. And the reward isn't the actual reward. It's finishing all the work you have. Like all the things that are holding you back from your reward, finishing that is the actual reward. It's not getting to the reward, and you'll realize that as slowly, you get it. It's just, but that's what I.
Excellent. And I have one more question for you is, with like what I have done with you and many other students in my lifetime, right? of working with students one-on-one is why I noticed that it wasn't the math that was necessarily holding people back. We all think that, oh, she doesn't get the math. She doesn't get the math. It's not, it wasn't math. What was it? You tell me with your own words.
Not math. It's not any subject. It is all your mindset. If you tell yourself you can't do something, you 100% will not be able to do it. You know, you can, for all, you can teach yourself how to program, or you can teach yourself how to be an engineer. But if you tell yourself you can't do something, you're never going to be able to do it. It's all in the mindset. Seriously, if you want to believe if you believe that you're capable of doing something, you can achieve wonders. Seriously. And that's something I strongly believe in now. And I think that if you actually really put your heart to it and you really want to learn it, you'll be fine with anything.
Yeah, that's what Success Codes is all about. I think many of our students are missing the fundamental of being a student, right? Nobody ever taught you how to be a student, right? Or how to study. What's the most effective way to study?
Everybody is different too, so it's so hard because you're looking at your friend and she just gets things all of a sudden, and you're looking at someone else and they don't do any of their work, and they're just thriving in the class, and here you are, you do all the work and you're just like falling behind. You're doing horrible in the tests, you're doing everything. It's because everybody is different, and you have to, even though it's really difficult, if you have some outline of how to figure out your own study methods, how to figure out how you learn is a really big thing that I didn't understand, because you can be a visual learner, a reader or whatnot. It's so hard when there's no guidance. And when there is guidance, it's just so much easier to understand what to do and how to work things out, Yeah. It's a game changer, honestly.
Yeah. For me, that's what I've noticed with every one of my students. When I was able to give them a guidance on that, they started flourishing in math as well as in life and as well as in every subject. And they started talking like you with very big time confident boost. It wasn't math that boosted your confidence. It was the formula that you needed to. But then math comes, and that success builds motivation and momentum for you, right?
Exactly.
And no one can take that away.
It's always going to stay with you. If you let it get away, it'll get away. But if you maintain the mindset and if you keep yourself positive and motivated, you're going to be absolutely fine. You'll be great.
Yes, honestly, it is 100% true what you shared with me today. Thank you so much. I wish you all the best in university and life ahead. I think this is just a little pause we all had to go through in life. But you know what? With this pause, I think it was a positive pause, because we've all realized what was so important to us and what are things that are not important, and what things we should fuss over or stress out about, and what's things that we can be like, oh, that's okay, I can handle it. I think we all as a whole world learned a big we all say change is hard, but we all adapted it in our own ways to change, right? And it's magical how we all did it, but we did it.
Very positive change. It's something that even though something so unexpected happened, we took that and we completely transformed ourselves and how we think about things, honestly, so
yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing your future, how it goes, and I think you'll do really, really well because you got the right mindset.
You
do. Thank you so much.
Please take care. I hope you're doing well. It was so nice talking to you.